All right, so I'm going to ask you a tough question,
Okay.
possibly. I'm wondering what is one thing, could be anything in the world, that you regret the most?
Wow. I don't know. I don't know that I have any great regrets. I mean, if you're talking both, personally and or professionally, you know, professionally, I think you look back on your career, and there were certainly decisions you made, and especially in my position of making decisions to do shows that ultimately do not work out, and a level of frustration in having invested not only your time and your commitment and energy and feelings and reputation into it, but many others as well. And because creating theater isn't something where you can just follow a checklist towards success, that there is a level of kismet in whether or not something turns out to be successful or not, or in some cases an abysmal failure. You don't have full control over that, and yet if you're making the first decision to do it, and then it ends up failing, certainly you have your regrets there at the time. Having said that, with the knowledge that there isn't a theater that's existed in history that has been wall-to-wall hits, from beginning to end, you realize that it's not something that can be done, and yet you do find it frustrating, and you do regret it. Um, in terms of my life regrets, mm, I had a lot of friends growing up as a child and then through my teenage years and into my college years that I have lost contact with, and time and distance does that. And even though now clearly there's a new avenue through social media of reconnecting, I have found it difficult to make the connection on that way. I will not. I don't have a Facebook page, in part because I'm afraid of bringing those I guess friendships and relationships back to life, because I'm not sure that I can serve them well at this moment. I know that I have the time, and yet I have this great curiosity as to what's happened to my friends from that time, and what they've turned into as adults, not just their jobs, and not just who their spouses are, or do they have kids, or where do they live, but sort of the path of life, and what their discoveries are, and what their regrets are, what excites them, and how much they've changed. So I have some daily regret there, in part because it's at my fingertips, and I don't seek it out. And I guess you end up going through life and to your grave with some regrets. You can't avoid them. But overall, not many. I mean, I'm doing what I want to do. I'm in the conversations I want to be in. I'm surrounded by people that interest me. I have a great family. I get to be in the theater every day of my life. It's in some ways I get hit with I get hit with a lucky stick there. So I don't know. I don't know that my autobiography would be no regrets, but it might be called Few Regrets.